Alrighty then. Well, it is 5 minutes past the hour. This is going to be a fun little show because it is 2 minutes or 2 hours before my normal go time for the VOD. And we've done that in the past, and that's okay. Sometimes I find that people actually enjoy it a little more because it's smack dab in the middle of the day, as opposed to either at 2 p.m. MST, 4 p.m. EST, or 1 p.m. CST, was it? Or no, 1 p.m. Pacific. However, time zones are a fickle mistress, and that is okay. But today we're going to start. So let me get into that. Look at that. Also, where is my thingy? I know why things are not working, because Streamlabs is being dumb. There we go. That's why. So, firstly, you're going to notice something for today's stream. And that is that my wonderful, wonderful little man, my wonderful host, co-host, is not going to be with us today. And that is okay. He is off doing something else currently. But, you know, we love him, we miss him, and he will be back on Friday for next Friday's episode of the VOD. So, let's talk shop. Let's talk about our previous stream, our previous episode of the VOD, and our next episode of the VOD, and then we're going to go into our episode for today. Pardon me, I'm a little boggled. Yesterday was a very busy day for me, and excuse me. It was a little busy day for me, and oh my goodness, my train of thought just keeps going. It was a busy day for me yesterday, where I didn't get to bed until much later. However, I have a big old crispy bottle of Dr. Pepper with me to wake me up a little bit, so that's where we are at. So our last episode of the VOD was yesterday with Arizita joining us, and we had a fun little discussion about not only her interests and things she likes, whether it was just her variety streams, her craft making, and especially Legos. We had an interesting discussion on Legos, but also we spent some time diving in and talking about anime, specifically Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. Lego Val when? I don't know. Here's hoping. Maybe I can reach out to a custom manufacturer to see about making that sometime. I feel like that'd be so cool. But yeah, we had a very fun conversation about Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. It's ending, and not only that, just anime in general. And I think we finished it with talking about astronomy, and it was so much fun. You know, Arizita was a lot of fun, especially her choices of the last 10 questions we asked at the end of the show. That was a lot of fun, too. I really enjoyed that. Now, our next stream that we're going to be having, I need to check my calendar. That should be Friday. There it is. So Friday, January 9th at 7 p.m. MST, we're going to be having our friendly neighborhood wizard and otherwise spellcaster, Robecaster, joining us. And he's going to be a lot of fun to talk with. We have streamed with him before, and we've had many a fun conversation and talks with him over streams that are just outside the VOD. So yeah, expect that. So for today, again, today will be a little interesting because we're actually going back to the roots of the VOD, meaning that it's going to be just me today. And that's all right, because that's how this show began. And it honestly is actually an interesting opportunity to go back and be a little more reflective on, you know, how the origins, the roots of the show and how it started out. Because when you think about it, ever since we added Phantom to the stream, I feel like the dynamic and the way we run the show has always been super fun and super interesting. But I've also felt like it's interesting to see what happens if one of us were to host it again. Because, like, I love talking with my guests one-on-one, but it's also really fun to have somebody else next to me who can also ask questions and bounce things off of. So it really offers unique insights and opportunities that make each episode of the VOD completely unique and different. And today is no exception. It's just that our little baby boy is sitting up on the top shelf today, just vibing and chilling out. So, without further ado, because you guys know me, I like to ramble and I like to talk. Today, we will be welcoming one of the most chaotic and random VTubers. Now, some people say, pardon me, today is just, I need to be on top of my game. I don't know why I'm not on top of my game. Whew. All right, let's restart that. Today we'll be welcoming one of the most chaotic and random VTubers, someone who actually put time to scientifically analyze VTubers, the VTubers' hydro and aerodynamic claims, and somehow managed to model reveal purely on guesses. Now, he came through hell, literally, to be amongst the humans, to be amongst the human beings with all variety and random bits of knowledge in all kinds of the industry. So we will pick that brain a little bit and see how well that claim is going to be made. So let's give a hellish home welcome to Tasogare. And I have to, there we go, I have to unmute that because guess what? Since I don't have my co-host Phantom, what's funny is I have a source on my Streamlabs that like I undo for Discord, and that's typically because my co-host Phantom is with me. I am able to unmute that, and since nobody was here, I had that muted, so I want to make sure I unmute that before we get you going on that. Let me rotate myself a little bit. Oh no, I just
okay.
Yes, I must. Oh my gosh. Ready? Ah, there we go. Now I can face you. Alrighty then. How are you doing, Tasso, my friend?
Okay. Well, I'm doing pretty much good, and actually, I was like kind of prepared for this, but kinda didn't expect to like don't go like co-host and thing to go wrong. So here we are. What are you?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, sometimes things don't plan out, and that's why, at the very least, I am here to host the show if my wonderful co-host can be here. But on the flip side, I know that if I wasn't able to be there for an episode, that Phantom would be here as well. Which, guess what, guys? If you were, I also realized that I need to rotate a little more. There we go. If you guys are not already, please go support my wonderful co-host Phantom. He's a wonderful, wonderful individual. Also, let me get a... Oh, that's right. So, our wonderful guest today, fun fact, doesn't stream on Twitch. They stream on YouTube. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But for now, it's time for me to... And if you said that you watched 2 of my shows before coming on.
Yes, I did.
So then you know the question I'm about to ask.
Yes.
So... This is my very first question. This is the first question of the show, and dare I say, the most important question of the show. So, Tasso, who are you, and what is your story?
Well, actually, I thought a lot of how to answer this question because actually, long time ago, someone questioned me. I was like stuttering a lot. Then I figured the answer in real life is like I'm a survivor, and that relates to my whole personal backstory that we're not going to into. But because this is just a VTubing thing, I just say that I'm a fox and kitsune hybrid. How about that?
Sure. Now, something you talked about with me prior to the show was that this is not your first go about of being a VTuber. Do you mind if we talk about that a little bit?
Yes, actually. So, actually, I was watching VTubers before even it was a word. Since 2018. I know many channels that are even deleted today, and you cannot like find no traces of them. And from the beginning, like 2018, it was such an interesting subject to me that I was like, oh, I might as well give it a try. Oh, they have so much fun. Oh, what this? Oh, that. And I never failed to like execute it because I had a potato PC. I mean, literally 4th gen, like Intel CPU on i5. It's not a PC to handle VTubing without an even GPU. So, I like in 2021, I guess I give it a try on 3D because I wanted to like see how things are happening on VTubing and etc. But I was like, yeah, but I the way I see it, 3D VTubing going like not my thing most of the time. Like sometimes going to be my thing. I did a 2D model. So the thing is, before even VTubing, I was a 3D artist. So I had a very vast knowledge of like 3D and stuff. Although my 3D model was like lazily with Viroid Beta, uh, just like yours. And but the thing is that because I didn't have any prior like knowledge to 2D, I wanted to like kind of start it to myself. So I started it and drew like an avatar of myself that was based on the concept of the 3D, and it was hideous. Literally, it wasn't satisfied with it. But I got like 3 months with it, and I was like, okay, I need like a proper model. But the beneficial was that during preparation of that 2D model, I learned live 2D rigging. So I didn't need to like commission a rigger for the next model. In the next model, I just straight like commissioned an artist, which was pure enchant. She was like pretty good artist, I can say that. She just drew exactly what I wanted. Then I just started like I think 1 month into rigging it, and there we go. We are free. There, my third like avatar. But the thing is, because Kage was my previous name, and Kage is currently name of like Nijisanji VTuber, I couldn't choose that anymore. So I just deleted even the Gmail of that account and started a whole new other like accounts based on this new name and concept.
Now, since you've been through this process before, is there anything that you've taken from? And there he goes, wandering about the couch. No, but is there anything that you have? Because clearly this is a culmination of different elements. That since this is your third time going about it, as you've told me before, are there things that you've taken from each successive run at it and that have culminated into what you are now?
Yes, actually, because the first time I was just experimenting to just see how the VTubing goes, how the like from the VTuber firm like entertainer perspective, how everything is it. Then on the second run, I was like, okay, I got the idea of what I want to do, but how to execute it properly. Even I like for a while I was like making TikTok contents. That's why I have TikTok accounts now, but I can, and I currently use it like for short clips. Back then, if you like check my old Instagram, you can see like there was like a whole TikTok like trends was going on that I was going through, and I was like, okay, this execution is semi-fine. I need to do better, and also I need a better model. So it's just like this like second iteration, but better execution and better model.
Are there any things that you hope like are you? Well, actually, I'll back up a little bit. Um, are you um seeing about like in the future, because since you have different models at this point, do you know if you might want to change again in the future, or I understand this could be a question that some people don't like the idea of rebranding or doing anything like that again, but do you have hopes to continue with this iteration and then play off that, or is it something that perhaps you like the challenge of creating a new model and a new persona? I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, okay. So, so many of my concepts is so the thing about VTubers most of the times is like they have lore.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I had the lore idea before hand of even the first iteration. I was like going through that, and even that have been improved until now. So there's so many, you can see there's so many little bits and pieces that I'm putting everywhere else, like my kitsune mask. I'm not going to emphasize on it, of course, but you can say, of course, see that there's like kitsune mask like all of my pages, and that's one of the going to be important thing on the lore. Based on the lore, I'm going to like change like 2 times the model, but it's not going to be a rebranding. It's just a little thing to be like progressive based on what like audience discover about the persona.
So, because you have this lore, like, and you have the experience of creating it, do you think, in your opinion, like, lore is something that VTubers should have, or is it something that should kind of be a secondary thought, and design should be the first and foremost thing? Because I know with some people, like Phantom, for instance, he doesn't really have lore, because his whole brand is what you see is what you get, and so because of that, like, I have lore. I haven't disclosed any of the lore, but that's because I want to actually create a lore video of some kind to actually showcase that, and so you can see the two differences between us and how we perform and how we go about our VTuber careers, so to speak. So do you think that, in your experience with writing lore, do you think lore should happen with a character, or do you think design should be the first thing in mind?
Actually, I think none of them.
Explain.
Actually, I have a Reddit account because I like sometimes I go through these things and I like talk from my experience. I think the most and foremost important thing is like entertainment. VTubing, as like any other kind of like YouTubering, streaming, and anything else, is a form of entertainment.
Yes.
Your job is literally to entertain people. So it's not about design and about the lore. Those are optional to add more entertainment. But you can actually have better entertainment in some cases without lore or good designs.
Okay.
For example, one of the people that I really like in this manner is like, I'm going to like name one of the VTubers.
Sure.
Is Rim Penrose. Rim Penrose neither have good mod, neither have a like a good lore, but she just a good entertainer, and that's what keeps her going.
So then, what advice would you give for somebody who wants to become a VTuber in that regard? If you say that lore or design, because what I'm kind of gleaning from this is that, and it's kind of something I also talk about to some degree as well, is that you need to be a good entertainer first, or you need to have some sort of experience, or like some way to perform before you can have a flashy model, because that's like having a Lamborghini and then the engine is just like terrible. Like, sure, it looks good on the outside, but the inside just doesn't run well. What are your thoughts?
Well, your take on this is good, but the thing is, entertainment is a skill. Your skill gets just better with better practices, and like,
it's like wine.
The more you do it.
Yeah.
If you watch one of the first stream, I literally was like fixing a scuff mid-game on an Overwatch of all games, that your playment is important. That's not really entertaining. We're just fixing a scuff. But the more I done the streaming, I like, okay, I need to do this better. I need to do that better. I need to do this better. And I improved. So I cannot say that I'm a good entertainer, but I'm a better entertainer than before. So it's just a matter of a skill, and like any other skill, you just need to improve it through practice. That's it.
It's also a learning process too. I mean, if you go into it, because the thing is, I've talked about it before. I'm a classically trained actor. I'm a classically trained singer. I am a classically trained double bassist, and I don't say all of this to be like, yes, I flex these. I say it because, while I have done many theatrical performances in my life, whoa, saw the kitsune masks there. While I have done many,
Sorry, I was taking a sip and the tracker just lost my face.
oh no, that's okay. But even though I'm a classically trained performer and I have years, almost a decade of performance under my belt, when I started VTubing, it is a completely different thing where I feel like it's not something that one can, like anything that is not specifically what you've done. Like, say you've done construction and then you decide to go into like you're a carpenter and you decide to go into like being an electrician. You have some form of a background that could help, but it's certainly a brand new experience that you will fail. That's just a given. You will fail, but you will learn. And that's kind of kind of the sentiment I feel like. Thank you, Grease. Thank you for that metal pipe.
That's not just like about VTubing, because I'm streaming on YouTube. Actually, I should like kind of. That's hilarious. Okay, I just should kind of like research on the YouTube algorithms and stuff, because I'm not like streaming on Twitch to have like channel points and stuff. It's YouTube and complete different platform. And the thing I discovered is that this problem is not like related to just VTubers. It's like the whole content creation thing. All the streamers feel the same thing. All the YouTubers feel the same thing. But everyone face it at their own pace and at their own like way, because every creator have their own like experience, background, and their own niche of content, and their experience change because of that.
Oh, that makes complete sense. Something I've said before is, especially when it comes to something like content creation, it is very much a race, but some people, like, there is no start to the race. There's no starting line. Instead, the race has just been running this entire time, and anybody can jump in and pick up at any point. However, some people start the race earlier, some people start the race sooner, some people start the race, where they can only walk the race. Some people full on sprint the race and then get gassed like a mile in. And at the very end of it, however long that race is purely determined by how far you move that goalpost. And so it's just, ultimately, it's a race that you will only ever win if you say, you know what, that is my finish line up ahead, and that's where I say I am good and I am done.
Well, actually, on a complete unrelated note, that reminded me, your example reminded me of a race that was like bicycle race, that a horse just in middle of a race jumps in middle of bike races and somehow wins the race.
That's how you make,
hilarious.
That's how you make the Tour de France more enjoyable.
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's just since everybody is in a thank you, Ren, for that Dr. Pepper. I needed to hydrate. Because of that, like, I feel like, in my opinion, in my experience with doing this, we spend far too much time comparing where different people are in the race, and think about how long people have been running the race. Maybe there was suddenly a gust of wind that pushed the person further, when in reality, as you've done in what you've talked to me about, instead you just take the time to analyze and you see, okay, what can I take from that and what can I improve on? It's like somebody looking at Michael Jordan and saying, oh, well, he has really good footwork and his shooting is very well. But then you look over at somebody like Steve Nash, who's one of the best point guards in the NBA, is just like, well, that man is incredibly good at passing, one of the best NBA passers. And so you're kind of observing and taking these little chunks from each and kind of incorporating. You're analyzing, you're not comparing. You're just analyzing and taking the information so you can use it, see what works and see what doesn't. It's just a metrics game at that point.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of that. Because as much as like it's metrics and you should learn from your mistakes,
Of course.
you're also competing with others.
Mm-hmm.
So you should also be relatively competitive to others, so you can like be amongst them. So actually, you see that what I had a little mic check before the stream that I speak you before.
Mm-hmm.
That actually has two reasons. There, one of them is actually one of the most critics that I would get on my channel. Oh, your mic quality is way worse than like most of the VTubers. That's like one of my most hate comments. And like before, because one of my jobs, I learned that if you get a hate comment, you better to iterate on that rather than like hate or love it. You better iterate on that. You both are improving and also making their excuse vanish. So that's one of the reasons that I like changed my mic. Another reason is that I have a cover song coming. So it's like a combination of two. You should also learn from your mistake and also compare yourself to the others and see if you're relatively competitive enough yet or not.
Pardon me. Sorry, my mic decided to be a little funky wonky. But guess what? If you've seen my shows and you've been here, you know that audio issues are a thing that happen. But that actually leads me to my next question perfectly. You know, scuff happens all the time, and scuff is a big thing that we see a lot in just our own streams. The question is, what are your thoughts on scuff? Like for me, I think scuff is what makes my streams as enjoyable as they are, and especially the way how I approach things with my streams is I don't mind showing a lot of behind the scenes of what I do, because I just find it to be fascinating for people to see, and they can take it and learn from it. What are your thoughts on something like scuff?
Actually, I like to like show some of the behind the scenes. I actually like if one or two more of my escape, I actually show my task manager on the stream, so it's not really shy about. But the thing is, based on my experience, there is like two types of scuff. One that is very funny, one that is super annoying. Like, you remember that I said one of my first stream on Overwatch, I had like fixing a scuff the whole stream?
Mm-hmm.
It was one of my hard drives failing. It's no fun to see like someone's hard drive failing. It's rather annoying because I should like go back to the hardware and like reattach, deattach the hard drive or like monitor at the same time if hard drive is working correctly, and at the same time play it. And for the like viewer experience, it was like ruining their experience actually.
Yes.
So it was no fun. So another way, I had like a scuff for a while that my voice gets stuttered. That was a fun scuff that I had because so many people had fun with it and even make joke of it. So I instantly knew that if a scuff is fun or annoying. So my take is that just, if you have a scuff, try that your scuff be funny rather than annoying.
See, what's funny is, well, maybe not so funny, but what happened with one of my buddies who I was streaming with, it during our stream because we were collabing, it was me, him, and my co-host Phantom. As we were streaming, his graphics card started to just die and crash. And so he was mid-stream when that happened. And we're like, "Are you okay? What's going on?" Like it is so interesting to see all these things crash in real time, but see how people recover. Cuz like something I always do is when I trip and fall, it's happened several times in my life. Sorry, guys, I'm not the nimble, graceful ballerina I let on to be. Sometimes I move with the grace of a newborn foal. So I'm sorry about that to ruin your immersion. But whenever I fall, because of my improv background, the first thing that comes to my mind that I always do is I immediately start doing sit-ups. If I fall on my back, and if I fall on my stomach, I instantly start doing push-ups because I think it just looks funny. You see somebody fall, you look back, they're not writhing in agony. No. They're they're standing there and they're just doing sit-ups. And it's the funniest thing to see. Go ahead.
Actually, to be honest, it looks like an anime funny scene.
That's what it's supposed to be. Which, how dare you, Tay? How dare you gift this wonderful person a sub? Thank you for the sub, but you know what? Guess what? I'm just gonna hit. There you go. Yippee. Oh, thank you for that. But it was something that I started when I was in high school, because when I so when I was in high school, I was in my high school physics class, and I was leaning back in my chair, and one of the delinquents that was behind me, and we actually later became friends, thought it to be funny to pull the chair out from underneath me. And so I fell on my butt, and it made a loud noise, and by the time everybody turned around, I started doing sit-ups. And again, everyone thought it was the funniest thing. Meanwhile, my butt hurts, but my ego grew 10 times that day. And so
I can't say that.
It literally just becomes something of how do you react in situations like this, and how do you go moving forward? Because ultimately, if you're going to fall, as I always say, if you're going to fall, you might as well make it look good. You know?
Well, I wasn't always like a pretentious guy, but because let's face it, everyone knows that you fall.
Well, nobody's human, or nobody's perfect. So yeah.
Although you doing that makes it funny, it doesn't change anything about the fact that it happened.
No.
So what I try to do is that make sure it never happens again. That's what I try to do. So I think you kind of get my mindset during this time, that my mindset is kind of like improvement on the problems of the past. So if this happens, okay, so what caused it? Oh, this caused it, so how can I improve it? And I just like iterate on that. But what I try to do, make it at that moment, is not to make it funny, but rather bring more entertainment out of it.
Yeah.
So that's why actually I break like task manager middle of a couple of my streams, because like, oh, I got a scuff that is annoying. Okay, let's make more content of it. Bring task manager in and fix the scuff with task manager.
You know, and the thing is, I feel like when you bring such a healthy amount of normalcy like that, I feel like it often lends itself to be more refreshing for people, because when they see something like that, they don't see it as, oh, they made a mistake. It's, oh, look, they are human just like me, and they don't, you know, it's that's one of my favorite things about it, is when I show people this sort of this side of it. It's excuse me, it comes down to, look, we're not these perfect individuals, we're not infallible gods, we are people behind the camera that is dancing and singing in front of you, you know?
Yeah, I actually had like, I know what you're talking about, but it's all entertainment industry. That's not going to stop like people from idolizing. But what you can do, you can make it more funny. So I had like this setup that for a game that I played, I'm going to bring one of the sensitive topics. Sorry, a little bit, because the coffin of Andy and Lele, I like bring like a couple of clips together and make a whole funny series. And like, oh, I made a mistake here. Look how it turned out here. Oh, I made a like I talked about this here and it's happened here somehow. Or like, oh, this happened in the game that no one discovered. Oh, this thing is annoying in the game for me, and it bugging me during the whole game for the entire stream, and it actually, from my perspective of view, it wasn't funny, but from the reaction I've got from those videos to people are those super funny. So that's what you can do with that idolizing people that people do no matter what you do. Just make it more funny. That's it.
Yeah, and just how you react is ultimately what you will get out of it. I mean, that is the essence of performances. Well, what you're trying to get out of it, what you're trying to do is ultimately what you'll get out of it. So yeah, why don't we move a little bit past this and talk about something that I think is interesting, because I have yet to have it on this channel, is you stream on YouTube and only YouTube, whereas I stream on Twitch and only Twitch. So explain to me your experience streaming on YouTube, because I know nothing about it in terms of VTubers.
Well, actually, it's no difference from Twitch, kinda. A difference of the platform accessibility. Because Twitch is a specialized in niche of streaming, so you always have like community goals, you have like channel points, you have like some little interactions between chats. YouTube doesn't have most of it.
Yeah.
YouTube metrics are still based on the content. If your stream ends at the end of the day, YouTube counts it as like a big like 2-hour video that you just uploaded.
Yeah.
So YouTube doesn't count it as a literal stream. So that's where the difference arises. While in your like in Twitch channel, you can like gather community by like follow community goals or channel points or etc. etc. In YouTube, it's just normal content.
Yeah.
So you gather community by more content. That's the major difference between these two platforms.
I was gonna say, because the biggest thing I've heard is that you like the appeal of Twitch, one of the things is that it is very much more community based, whereas YouTube is can sometimes be interactive to a degree where it's if you miss a stream, well, you now have these forever archived videos that happen. And the thing is, I don't know much more outside of that, because again, I don't stream on YouTube, so everything about that is kind of a new experience for me. And so like I've only seen like certain streamers in passing who are doing it, you know, like that sort of makes sense. So yeah, this is it's an entirely new thing that, you know, you can kind of tell us a little bit about.
Yeah, the difference is that the major difference is that Twitch counts every stream as just a stream. It's community.
Yes.
You're a host and you communicate with your chat. YouTube counts it as a form of content, because YouTube already has like short and long content forms, and long forms already are diverse in many ways. So a stream, because it's like for YouTube, it's going to be like full HD, and it's going to be like 1 hour, 2 hour, more than 1 minute. YouTube just counts it as like long content. That's what YouTube counts it. So what you do is that while you're actually, what a funny thing that about YouTube is that YouTube have a confusion between stream viewers and the viewers of the archive their stream, because during the stream, the YouTube tells you, okay, you had this much views and you performed this way, and after the stream that becomes our archive, all of them become 0. after a while, those that your archive video gets like views after as long form, your your stream views metrics gets back. So YouTube has this confusion between stream views and archived stream views. And that's a funny thing, actually. I laugh at it so many times. Like, I had like a stream that I like 12 people while like watching it simultaneously. Then after it, YouTube said, "Okay, 0 people have watched it." I was like, "What?" Then now it's come back, and YouTube is starting to add those again. So it's for YouTube, it's just a whole new just content, long form content. That's what you do. So what you're doing is that your community is in YouTube is community based as well, but it's different way, because in Twitch people can just randomly find your streams.
Yeah.
In YouTube, they cannot. YouTube offers them your stream, but if they don't know you, they won't click. So what you're gonna do is that you're going to gather a community that are like long form of content. Then those guys will little by little get interested in your stream, because that's a form of long form content.
Yeah.
And they start joining one by one after your community gets used to your like long form content. So that's like the major difference. In Twitch, you have like channel that is based on like live show, and in YouTube you have a channel that's based on the whole of your content you create.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Like, not only that, it just makes me wonder how many differences and how many things you can ultimately see that change between Twitch and Kick and YouTube and any other sort of platform. And then even then, you see other things like people streaming on Facebook. And like when I found out that people streamed on Facebook, I'm like, what the heck? I've never thought about that. I've never heard of that.
Actually, on top of that, Twitter have added streaming. Actually, it was like offering one of the streamers to like join them. So it was like, it's hilarious. It was like, YouTube, Twitter, streaming. Seriously.
It's an experience. It's a thing. Now, how do you? What are your thoughts? Because, like, something that came out recently was the whole multi streaming, where you can now stream on YouTube and Twitch simultaneously. Ninja was poached by Facebook exclusively for about a year, among some other biggies. Really, I didn't know that. Huh? I thought he was exclusively on Kick. Interesting.
Well, actually, my take on this is that I wish I started on Twitch. Because the thing is, a gathering community on Twitch is way easier than YouTube, but keeping them is easier on YouTube than Twitch. So what you want to do as a starter most of the time is that you want to like start from Twitch, then move on to YouTube. So you create your first point of community on the Twitch, then you move your community to your YouTube, so you can keep your community on YouTube. That's like, because YouTube is good at it. Is really good at keeping the community. I never had so much community stability anywhere else rather than YouTube. But it's already what I already done. I can change that. I can move to Twitch, but the community that already know my stuff on YouTube going to be confused, so I can like really change that. Another thing is that actually I love multi-platform stream, but the thing is that you're uploading to like more than one place at the same time. So you should have like a hefty internet to be able to support that.
Well, I guess
and I
it's.
don't have that internet.
Well, I suppose it's kind of like the age-old adage of "smoke 'em if you got 'em." You know, if you have the internet, you might as well use it.
Yeah, exactly.
um, now, is for somebody who does stream on just on YouTube, you know, because you did talk about how you wish you would have started on Twitter streamers, guys. That's what we're doing now. So, you know, you were talking about how you kind of wished you had done it on Twitch. You started on Twitch. Do you think there's any inherent downsides to just sticking with something like YouTube? And I'm not referring to something like the crap. What is it called? The partner split. So like the monetization thing. Because I'm aware that the monetization is different from YouTube and Twitch. I'm more talking about just, are there any downsides to just taking one spot and just sticking there? Because I know some people, they really like streaming on YouTube. That's where they have a lot of their content. Some people just like being on Twitch. You know, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, every one of my really beliefs is that don't have perfect things, and no Twitch is perfect. Actually, problems of Twitch is infamous at this point. No YouTube is perfect. So it's like you should get used to the downsides. Of course, there's downsides, but you should get used to it. Like in Twitch, you don't have like community stability as much as you have on YouTube. But on YouTube, gathering community is like a jubilant times harder than Twitch. I remember that when I don't remember if you, because I was in the Discord channel from the first VOD.
Mm-hmm.
And remember if you if I don't know if you remember or not, I like said I immediately recognized one of the like VTubers that were in the Discord that was one of your guests. She was Merida.
Yep.
It was
Merida the Giraffe. She was
actually,
my second guest.
Yeah. The thing is, me and Merida started at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And sometime and during our model reviews, we both like kind of got inspired by each other. I got couple of things that she like inspired me by. She did a couple of things that she got inspired by me, and because she's like streaming on Twitch, she has more community than me now. Although we started at the same time, and I have like 150 like videos, but she'll have more community than me because she has started from Twitch. Twitch is really good at gathering a community, but YouTube, on the other hand, is really slow at that. Sometimes super fast. Sometimes it like gives like, here, they have this much subscribers that you didn't expect for, but most of the time is like your progress is slow and steady, but that slow and steadiness causes more stability. So you have more better stability community there, but you have a slow progress. While here, you don't have that much community stability, but you have fast progress. So that's the difference.
If we take a little bit of piggyback off that, what can you do? What can say I want to become a VTuber. Yeah, because I'm already anyway. Say I want to become a new VTuber, and I want to rebrand. You know, nobody knows who I am. How should I go about starting on Twitch, or not Twitch, on YouTube? Like, what, in your experience, what advice would you give me if I were to start on YouTube as opposed to starting my journey here on Twitch?
Okay, I will just give one of the mistakes that I recently made, and I like recovered from that like barely. Don't get your hopes high on short videos. Short videos are great, but they will ruin your channel on the first start of it. Why I'm saying that? Because actually my model reveal was based on shorts, so many of the videos that I made was based on shorts, and later on, I figured what big mistake I've made. So I like moved most of my short videos to like TikTok and Instagram, then keep my like most of my long form content on YouTube, and like once in a while uploading a short video.
Mm-hmm.
What is the big mistake and why is that? The thing is that YouTube has this algorithm that called sample group. At first, it rates on a bunch of random people to see what they react to your video. Then then if the reaction was good, it pushed your video to the vast majority. But for short videos, most of the people that are going to like be sample grouped and watch the short videos are people with, I'm sorry to say it, but short attention span. So because they have the short attention, it's not a bad thing. I'm never like condone it. It's actually short attention span can be good thing in the right context. Anyway, but the thing is, they don't going to watch your long form video or streams. They have short attention span on shorts. The majority that they watch is shorts. So what are you going to expect from them to watch your stream? That's the big mistake that so many like start creators do, and not just like VTubers and stuff. So the thing is that you can make short, but don't rely on it. Your majority of content should be long form, so you can attract those people that watch long form videos, so they can sit and watch your stream rather than just going through your short videos.
So then what would you say about streamers like excuse me, like Punkalope, that she had a smaller following when she started out. However, once she started to really make YouTube shorts, that's when she exploded. And I say that because she is certainly a VTuber who when I started witnessing more and more, she would just pop up and come out of the woodwork, and I would see like her short every other thing. Okay, or something like Pirate Software is another very good instance of that, where his like entire brand, he exploded from YouTube Shorts kind of overnight.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but the thing is, it's good for those who are like gathered the community already, not those who are starting out. Because the thing is, actually, like, I had like spent one entire night to analyze the whole channel of these peoples. Even I gone through Rimpendros, I gone through Gargura, I gone through like Amali, I gone through Pankalopi, I gone through all of them, and when they start doing that, they already have gathered their community. Because remember that sample group? Mm-hmm. When you're monetized, that sample group is limited to your subscribers. So those who are watching long form videos already have the attention span to like watch the short form. So the sample group, because it's your subscribers, they watch the of course majority of your subscribers going to watch your short content, and then because YouTube receives, oh, this short content received so much positive impact, so let's push it to like majority of the people. So it's good for when you're gathered community, but not when you're starting to gather a community.
So you talk about this making long form content. What kind of long form content? And I understand the answer would be it depends on the individual, but like what if with long form content like that, you know, how can one properly expand and like work to make their long form content good?
Well, it depends on your niche, because it's really dependent on the niche. Because so many VTubers are actually don't make a stream, so they make long form contents, because one of them is like Lucy. Lucy really does low streams.
Lucy?
But she makes, yeah, Lucy Pyre. But she makes a lot of long form content, like a lot of them. So, and the thing is, you should make long form content into your niche. But the thing is that because it's a niche, you should kind of find the subjects you want to work around. For example, I want to be like major stream and like either scientifically based or complete fantasy. So what my content are is either I like gather a bunch of clips of my streams and put them in a like a story based wise and push it to long content, or either one of my content that is coming is scientifically analyzing the aerodynamic of Chibitako because she claimed that she is aerodynamic. And that's going to be fun. But the thing is, I'm going to either be that super scientifically or super like fantasy. And that's like my niche is. And that's what actually makes chaos. This interaction between fantasy and scientific is going to make a whole bunch of chaos that no one really expects. This is actually hilarious going on. But at the same time, sometimes someone like the Lucy Fire, her niche is not that. Her niche is like analyzing the situations of different platforms and different creators. So that's a complete different dynamic to what long form content she should make.
I mean, certainly makes sense to to a certain degree with that. I've always wanted to make long form content, but it's my biggest hurdle is like there's some people who make long form contents out of their streams and they edit it down and do stuff like that. But for me, I've always wanted to do more long form content, both long and short form content, that is more script written based. But the problem is I hate writing scripts. They just suck to me. And so I
hate it as well.
I can't get over
I
that.
hate it as well.
That hurdle. But I find out that if I actually sit down and just work towards it and do it, I find that it's not as bad as I think it is. I just tend to overthink. And because of that, like, I'm hoping that because of this new year, I can start to plan a little bit more and make this short form stuff. Now, speaking of my desire to do that, what are your thoughts on the idea of with wanting to make things work with YouTube? Because I certainly say that YouTube does require a little more work for marketing and networking. That's in my opinion, just me being around the platform for over a decade now, just seeing all the hard work that goes into it. Oh my goodness, where was I going with this thought? Oh my gosh, that's so embarrassing. Sorry, what were we going to say?
Okay. One of the is it a bad if I reveal one of your part of the background and stuff you do?
I'm sorry, what?
If you allow, I'll continue. Because I wanted to say something that reveals a little bit of background things that you do behind the scenes, but I'm not quite sure if you want that to be happen or not. If it,
is it pertaining to
allowed to do
is
that?
it pertaining to the VOD?
Yes.
Sure, what's up? Yeah.
So the thing is, the script you prepare before, like the VODs, I like saw a bits of bits and the scripts you're preparing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that. I hate scripts more than you. I don't do that. And like in neither of my videos, I just like, okay, now we record, and I just speak. And if it's a stream, I don't do anything. I just speak. None of things that I say in neither of my videos are is scripted. It's just me rambling on
Oh,
on, on live.
and I'm sure,
So
and I'm sure for some that's that's stuff though people like to do. Like for me, since I have an experience in theater, but I also have experience in broadcast, and I work in broadcast. Um, for like there are elements that I've taken for this show that I incorporate from that broadcasting experience, and I've talked about it before, where my guests. So sorry guys, if you don't know, I don't I I don't run and improvise my guest intros. I don't do that. That's because I think my guest can explain and talk about themselves in a much better way than I could articulate. And so because of that, I ask my guests to, hey, how would you like me to introduce you? And then I'll have them type it up, and then I will read it, and I'll read it in my own unique way, because I don't read it word for word. I add some of my own little things, I interject, because it just feels more natural. Because again, I've done hosting before, and that's kind of how hosting works. Is that you don't follow everything strictly to the T. You add your own little unique flavor, and you add your own personality to it. And so, you know, just a little immersion break. That's what I do for my introductions when I say today we'll be welcoming. So just want to throw that out there. No, I'm pretty transparent about how this show works. Sorry,
so
Tasso, you were saying.
About the networking you said, actually YouTube networking is not much different. It's the same. Actually, everything you do about networking is the same about YouTube, except you don't have like channel points and like community goals, but everything else is the same. The thing is, the work goes more into it is because you're not just streaming.
Mm-hmm.
You're making a whole how do I say it? If you said you worked at broadcast.
Yes.
Imagine you're making a whole website for broadcasting. That's what a YouTube channel is.
Mm-hmm.
So of course you're going to put more work into a whole website that you're making for broadcasting rather than just a streaming. So it's just the way of the content work. It's, how do I say it? It's because you're on Twitch, you're just streaming, but on YouTube, beside of streaming, you're making other types of content as well. And those type of content needs more work because they're not live and they need to be edited, of course. So you will stuck with too much work for your contents.
Do you have any workflows that you try and do that can kind of simplify and make the YouTube process a little easier? Because I have workflows that I do to make my Twitch stuff easier. For those that don't know, workflow can typically be defined as how you typically do something in a specific way, like how you accomplish certain tasks to get things done. So for instance, if I am editing audio, I have a process that I like to follow whenever I do a film mix or when I do a voiceover. So that's what I mean when I say workflow. So do you have a workflow that you kind of go through when you stream on YouTube?
Okay. Actually, I don't know where to start on this. So, one thing that I'm going to go by workflow for clips. Most of the clips that I'm making is that most of the time, what happens in a streaming that someone streams, someone else watches the whole stream and edits the stream out. But I figured out that would be super time consuming because it's the watch and writing down to what to clip is a super time consuming. Imagine you're streaming for 2 hours, then you need to watch that to stream another 2 hours, write that the things that you want to be clipped, another that takes half an hour, then editing of it that goes so beyond of this time span. So what you want to do is short this down. What I figured out is that it's better to write them live rather than doing anything else. In my streams, sometimes you see like, oh, I say like, wait a minute, and I shut up for 1 minute because I was writing down, oh, at this moment of the stream, I need to clip this at the live. Then I continue, and I say, oh, I did this and I didn't notice it. I need to clip this. I write it down. I write it down because I don't need to watch the stream anymore after that.
Mm-hmm.
And it just goes into editing production after that, straight, without anything else.
I mean, that makes sense. And so YouTube does have a live clipping feature.
Yeah, but the clipping, actually the editing clip from you is not that much great, and someone else need to clip you. But if you want to clip yourself, like most of the streamers, you don't have much choice on YouTube.
Could you theoretically supplement that with like if you're using OBS? Because I'm pretty sure OBS has a clipping software, like, or a clipping setting, because Streamlabs does. And I know you said you used Streamlabs, right?
I'm familiar with it. I didn't use it. I just used the mobile version, so I'm not quite sure.
But yeah, like OBS and Streamlabs both have built-in like clipping thing. They're like clipping functions. That's the word I'm looking for. I could not think of it. English is a hard language for me, even though it's my first language. So, but yeah, do you think probably you like having supplementary software like that, if your computer can handle it, would make the process much easier?
Actually, I've been thinking of that, but didn't search it because. Did you read some of my messages on the Discord?
Oh yes, I have, and that'll be a separate segment, like after this, that we're gonna talk about a little bit.
Okay. So the thing is, I'm already a programmer, and I was like, I'm already like building this program. How about I like add this bridge to the OBS that these things, I just didn't implement them yet. So it's just a matter of time before I get the access to that by my own program.
Now, as technology is kind of moving forward, more and more with the whole multicast and streaming, that do you think we'll ever get a point where something like YouTube would overtake Twitch? Because if you've seen in recent news, Twitch is not as profitable. It's not turning a profit currently, and people are actually going and questioning the whole, like, whether or not it's worth it in Twitch's mind to continue with this financial venture.
Actually, YouTube is the same. So much that I don't know if you kept up, they actually block the ad blockers.
Oh yeah.
So they can.
I'm aware. But
it's because actually YouTube is for Google, and if you see the revenue share, YouTube actually doesn't have a revenue. It's actually downside. It's damaging the Google. So Google is actually trying to maximize the revenue by like blocking ad blockers and maximizing the ads and etc. So the thing is, one thing that is happening, of course, is that YouTube is not going.
Brennan, no.
No.
Hold on. We must wait. I like the concept of you only subscribe, Brennan, just because you get more points now, and just because you can throw it.
Okay, so the thing is that What one thing is happening is that YouTube, of course, is trying to maximize the ads, and
Yeah.
that's not going to make people happy. So, what going to YouTube do is going to maximize the subscription-based things. Eventually, they are already doing some parts of that. Like YouTube Premium is much better than before. You have like a whole bunch of selected subscribers that in your channel that if you can gain access if you based on the amount of donation they give you have this bunch of stuff. So one thing that happens is that I think YouTube is going to be like a paid website, because the clearly ads is not working. The YouTube is going to based on the subscription, and with the things they are going, it's only matter of time that YouTube just say, okay, you should just pay to watch the videos. So that's one thing that is I think is going to happen, and I think YouTube going to be a good place for professional videos, because for let's face it, because YouTube is much more like polished in video making than Twitch. No matter how Twitch is trying to like be profitable, it's still uh, niched in streaming, while YouTube is niched in the whole video making industry. So YouTube is going to be much more professional, but Twitch is still going to be like way to go for streaming.
Do you think that with like, because based on what you're saying with that, because like I have YouTube Premium. I've had sorry guys, I don't follow a lot with the whole ad blockers. I'm well aware of the situation. It just doesn't apply to me. I've been using YouTube Premium for like 5 years now, so I've never had ads like that. But it does beg the question of, do you think that it could move to a business model that could sort of mimic what Twitter has done, where because I pay for Twitter Premium, and that's because it's kind of a necessity at this point. All of my comments will be pushed down. I won't get as much presence on the site, and they do that in the name of culling the bot epidemic. But I wonder if something like that were to apply to YouTube, do you think YouTube might implement something like that where content creators will have to pay to have some sort of premium partnership like that in order for their content to not be suppressed so far down?
YouTube going to push it a little, but not going to that much. They have already like a little bit of it, because if you're a monetized channel, in your like customization section, I think I don't remember, in content section, it's in the content section of your YouTube studio, that you can actually pay YouTube to have more impression on your video.
Well,
One of
yeah,
your videos.
those are just you pay to promote it. That's just what most sites do.
Yeah. YouTube actually implemented it recently. Even now, it's beside the promotion, it said beta, because it's just added recently and nobody sure it's working correctly or not. But they're not going to do that, because YouTube expects content creators to bring viewers outside of the YouTube, inside the YouTube. They're not going to achieve that through making content creators to pay for it. That's not going to happen. Actually, even now, some of the big content creators are just leaving YouTube. So the thing is, it's going to be just bad for viewers, not for content creators. Actually, if YouTube gets like subscription based and paid, it's going to be better for content creators, because it's gets more easily to like get a sponsorship, personal sponsorship from a content creators. So actually, I'm not quite sure if YouTube going to make it or not, but they can be a place that, oh, you want a sponsorship? Go to this part of the YouTube and find your sponsorship. they can actually do that at that time.
So kind of like how Stream Elements
But-
offers, whatchamacalls it, sponsorships that you could just take,
Yes.
and implement into your own things.
Yes.
Now, because all of this is happening, and where the potential for this could happen, what do you think the future of content creation could be if content creators are relegated to having to pay for a service to not have their things shoved down?
Actually, I don't think ever, at least on YouTube, content creators need to pay for things for them to get shut down.
No. Well, I
But-
meant like if in the future, if this end up if like content creation platforms ended up going the route of like Twitter, do you think how do you think that might change the content creation landscape because of it?
Well, because actually I think about a lot of it, but that's I didn't got to any like particular like result to say it. But the thing is that the entry barrier is much higher because you have these platforms that utilizes you, and you should somehow bring the community to one platform to another and make all the community synchronized somehow. That's one part of it that's going to be like more difficult, but another part that going to be like some sort of like difficult is that you have viewers from the ground up that they are paying to watch other content creators, and somehow you should manage to make them pay for you. So
Mhm.
that's another whole topic of like
Yeah, it's a can
competition.
of worms.
Yes, exactly.
Well, before we move on to our last segment, I'll ask you, what do you think about the future of streaming on YouTube, like being a VTuber on YouTube compared to being a VTuber on Twitch?
Well, I think I already said that, but the thing is, I think YouTube is much more slower, but much steadier. So the community gathering on YouTube going to stick with you much longer and much stable than like Twitch. So that's one benefit. But another downside is that you get your community way slower than Twitch.
Well, I think that's some very interesting insights into this entire multi-platform thing that will probably not stop being debated for some time to come. But in the meantime, something I thought would be interesting to talk about is it seems you post a lot of things, relating to computers. And one of the things you like to do is in my server, you like to post things pertaining to technology. Is that correct?
Well, it's not just technology. I just like raised with computers. Like my uncle is an IT guy, and I had like computer from like when I was 8 years old, and I got advanced in that. I just never had the chance to like tinker with advanced stuff because I always was on the low end that I couldn't like tinker with the advanced stuff. And I just recently, just because I could handle VTubing pretty good, I upgraded so much and so forth to I can handle VTubing pretty good. But the thing is that because I was raised with an IT guy, of course, most of my insights going to be like about IT rather than anything else. But it's not like I just know IT. That's why I put like random bits of knowledge of every industry, because I have worked in every industry, and I like.
You've worked in every
I'm
industry.
like, yes.
You've worked in every industry.
It's-
Name every industry.
What?
I said, I just it's the meme. It's you've worked in every industry. Name every industry. No, sorry, continue.
So the other parts of it that I'm already in like casino. Uh, Actually, my actual job is about casinos. Yeah, currently.
Is actually about what?
So casinos.
What's that?
Oh, you don't know?
Maybe it's just
It's a place.
maybe
It's
it's
a
the
place that
accent.
it's a place that people go for gambling.
Oh, casino. Okay,
Yes.
yeah, gotcha. So what it's
So,
funny is I'm from Las Vegas, so I'm very well acquainted with with gambling.
so that's a part of the industry that I know. I'm already a physicist, so that's why I have like scientific concept, and I like can take them so good because I know physics very well. I'm a physicist, of course.
A physicist. Explain
them.
that. Like, talk about that a little bit. How are you a physicist? I'm a little interested in that because
Well,
my twin brother is it wants to be an astrophysicist, so he's working to become that.
well, well, I actually have like two registered invention that I have patented. And another thing is that I actually working on an article now that is related to math and physics and is related to higher dimensions.
Oh,
If I give more than that, I will reveal too much, but that's about it I can say. So if someone can say understand higher dimensions, I can you can guarantee he's knowledgeable enough.
so as you were saying that you were worked with working as a casino physicist. What else?
Well, I have also worked as a construction. I worked like in like a editing as an editor in a TV. I worked as like a advertisement manager. I worked as marketing manager. I worked again in so many industries. The marketing manager was like in a tourist manager, a tourist company. The advertisement manager, I was like in an import company that was importing electrical stuff from other companies. So I have like these bits of random pieces from every industry that I can like. I have worked my way in every. It's not something that most people do, but I like you know the diversity of the different jobs. So the thing is, when a job gets boring for me, and I like, okay, I'm knowledgeable enough for this job, I just switch to a whole other industry to just know another industry and just challenge myself. And I just reread your chat. Isn't it wrong if I answer your chat?
No, go for it. That's why the chat is there.
Okay, so I'm actually like 24, but yeah, I'm super young. But I I started my work for way younger than you think. Actually, I started from 9. I was working from I was 9 year old. It was like child labor. I was consenting to actually was begging to enter to the job market. And when I entered the job market, like I immediately noticed that I'm like getting uh, experience in fields really fast. So it was getting boring for me. So I was like, okay, time to switch jobs now.
I mean, that I started working when I was very young. Maybe not. I mean, I didn't work professional jobs maybe until I was in high school, but we all got to get experience somewhere. So
Yeah, exactly.
I completely get it. Um, but it seems primarily where you post a lot of this stuff comes from like tech tech stuff. And so, how have you used this kind of tech experience to advance your
I'm,
your VTubing career?
I'm actually posting a lot of tech stuff currently because I was advancing in tech stuffs. because like I said, I didn't have that much experience with like top-notch like techs. I just like upgraded from like Intel 4th gen to Intel 8th gen. So that's going to be a really different experience on different CPUs. And this really, because this change of pace excites me, of course I'm going to post about it, but that's just going to be for a while until I need to improve something else rather than my computer. So I need to post about that.
Yeah. Are there any other interests that you have that you've learned over the course of your life that really you try and make a staple in your content creation? Like you're just you make as a staple. Like for instance, I'm an audio engineer by trade. That's what I have done for a lot of my life, and because of it, you know, I like to make that a very big stay in my channel. For instance, if you look behind your model, those mics, those are based on real mics. Those everything from the handle to the XLR plugs to the design of those are called C stands. And with that, one could be easily just have like a stereotypical boom come in. And it's like, no, I have the experience and it's my passion, so I want to incorporate that as much as I can. You know, same with the mic placement on my desk here next to the mug. I just incorporate those little doodads to make sure that this is my passion. This is what I incorporate because it's a big part of my personality. So what do you have besides computer stuff that we might not know of that you incorporate into your streaming?
Well, actually, I said that it was a 3D artist before VTubing.
Yes, and
so I really love 3D stuff because it's super cool. It's super cool. The way you handle particles, the way you handle rigging, the way you handle modeling, and everything else beside that, even rendering. I really love rendering. But the thing is, it's not the time. The only thing that I have utilized in my channel at the moment from my 3D art skills is my loading screen, which is a kitsune kind of mask demonized thing that is rotating and below it says loading. And but that actually I don't think I'm not debuted yet. I'm actually in pre-debut phase because of course when you have like gather community as well as YouTube, you need to slow down on debuting and wait until you have a proper community on YouTube, then you debut. But already I have made a 3D animation of debut that's going to be like played immediately after loading the screen, and it's related to the same mask that is in the loading screen.
You know, that's really
another thing that I
no, you go ahead, continue.
No, go ahead. Say your opinion. I will continue after that.
No, I was going to ask a question. So you go ahead.
Okay.
Finish what you were saying.
Okay. Another thing that I really like is like animation games. We don't really have like 3D version of them. It's like MMD and SFM. So
what's MMD?
I really like to make.
What's MMD and SFM?
MMD actually is stands for Miku Miku Dance. Is the way that it's a software that make like the Hatsune Miku dance design. But also you can like copy like different animation, different models. So some people are really enjoying MMD animations because okay, you have this animation copied on this character and you have a whole set of new scenario now. So that's MMD, but we have SFM, which is actually made by Valve, is based on the source engine of the Valve, based on the same engine of Half-Life 2 and Portal 2. It stands for Source Filmmaker. It's a 3D software for making short little animations. So the little animations that Valve had on the Portal or the little animation that Valve made on Team Fortress 2, both are made by SFM, and people really like SFM because, well, oftentimes the animation you get out of SFM is super goofy and it's hilarious. But the animation memes, 3D animation memes, are not much beside these two. You don't get a fully rendered, specific designed and animated, customized animated meme animation out of like a 3D software most of the time. So after I gathered community, one of the my community completely, one of the things that I'm going to do is of course making meme animations, and that's going to be like super fun. I think.
So, well, it's interesting that you're talking about the SFM animations like that, because what I'm thinking of currently is, have you seen any of the live performances that are being done by VTuber talents of like Niji-san's your Hololive, where you're seeing like these full mocap performances of like virtual concerts being performed?
Yes, I was watching.
What are your thoughts on that, considering you dabble in that animation department?
Well, actually, some of them are MMD. Some of them are MMD. For example, there's a VTuber that does this. She's called Chizu Coyote. She really loves MMD animation. She makes a lot of MMD animations, but some others are just VR chat. I'm sorry to break it, but it's just VR chat.
No, I'm aware.
Actually, Hololive is infamous for like providing VR chat like environment for their in talents for like performing in mocap on 3D.
Yeah, but but what they do is they fly their talents out to Japan, and they have a sound stage where they rig all that up, where they can all do it in real time together.
But the software that they're running onto is VR chat.
Well, yeah, it's just VR chat, but even then, it's still a technological marvel that all of that is able to be pulled off. I mean, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. It's not really magical because the thing that 3D softwares can recognize and track your body is through angles. They make little triangles between different parts of your body and see how the angles between each part of the a triangle changes. So, and they just apply the same change of angles to the model. That's it. That's tracking 101.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really impressive for me at some standpoint. The part that is impressive for me is that actually Valve managed to get finger tracking with their Valve Index.
Mm-hmm.
That finger tracking is impressive to be able to do that. Other than that, it's just triangles and do math. That's it.
So if what you say about those, I guess if those shows and the tracking is not impressive, especially on that, these concerts are not impressive on that grand scale of things, how would you improve it?
Well, one of the things that I really thought is that most of the characters are humanoid.
Mm-hmm.
How about we change it a little bit? Add a little bit of spice. How about you apply your tracking to a four-legged dragon? That's going to be something that rarely done. So that's something really impressive. Because you're applying the angles of the trackers in way different manner than a humanoid character.
What if the talents who are on stage just decide to get on all fours and do that?
That's actually hilarious. That's actually going to be hilarious. But no, I mean that just get on 4 and do that. Just the normal usual stuff and gets applied. Like you can like the rig that gets exported out of the trackers to get like applied to the model, it can be rotated manually. So you can just apply a 90-degree rotation to like, I don't know, make a 4-leg thing without someone just going to under 4 legs and do that.
That's what Benedict Cumberbatch did for The Hobbit. Yeah, he did. Like, and that's something that I just find it's these virtual concerts I just find to be super incredible, because it's so much of having all of these things together. Like, because if they were all in separate places, that'd be one thing, but since all of their talents are on a soundstage with all of this equipment, all this network stuff going on, you know, they're not bumping into each other. I mean, they bump into each other for comedic effect, but they're doing all of this, you know, singing songs, and they're able to incorporate their audiences into it, you know, where it feels like you're at a concert like that. I feel like that's nothing more than astounding that we're at a point in content creation like this where you can have these virtual concerts where, you know, back in the days of Japanese idols, where you look at a group like AKB48, you know, they were a massive J-pop band in the early 2000s and early 2010s. You know, just going to one of those shows is an incredible experience that most people don't have the opportunity to get to, because those tickets are based, much like Broadway, are based on lottery. And so the idea that you can see like these J-pop groups to an extent, these J-pop-esque groups to an extent, perform in such a capacity, I mean, that's nothing short than a technological wonder.
Actually, one of the things that I hope to see soon is like a Miku Expo, like from the.
A what? A Miku Expo?
Miku, yeah, you didn't see that?
No, I didn't. Well, I'm gonna look this up.
It was like, it was in 2010 or something that Hatsune Miku happened to have like live show concerts, but not virtually.
Oh, I remember this.
Physical.
Yeah, they used holograms.
Yeah, that would be really impressive actually if that happens with VTubers.
Be super interesting. Then again, maybe the performer in me would think it'd be much cooler to have like cosplayers that are just really good, just on stage dancing. Even if it's just not them, you know, the authenticity would change a little bit. But like, I don't know, to me, I feel like having live performances with just seeing these characters like that, or heck, even if it was the actual models, would that happen? Most likely not. But you know, that'd certainly be an interesting thing to see. So, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
And what's funny is,
and it's gonna be kind of funny.
Yeah, what's funny is something I like, one of my, if I continued as a VTuber long enough, something that one of my dreams that I want to hope to do is utilize that motion capture. You know, and I'm not saying VR, like actual mocap. I want to get a mocap suit that I could actually use, that I can use within something like a VR chat. That I think it'd be so fun to incorporate my improv experience, where I performed as an improv performer for a few years with a troupe, and it was one of the best experiences of my life. I think that'd be so much fun to incorporate that into a virtual setting like Twitch, where it's essentially VTube, like Whose Line Is It Anyway, but VTubers. And I feel like that'd be so much fun to do. And because we're in an age where technology can actually do that, you know, it's not something that it can just be a dream. It's just, at that point, it's a matter of money.
Yeah, it's just a matter of production. That's it.
So, like, money is the biggest hurdle with all of that, because I can't afford a mocap suit. Those things like $10,000, $10,000 to $30,000 for professional mocap suits. But in the meantime, you could certainly just get a nice VR kit, you know, like an HTC, or not, like a Valve Index, get the base stations and all that, and just set up a room, and there you go, you have full body tracking.
Yeah, exactly.
But the professional in me is just like, but like, imagine full mocap suit, Benedict Cumberbatch style, where I'm crawling around the floor on all fours. And I assure you guys, it's not a fetish, it's not a dream. I don't want to be on an animal on all fours. I'm just saying, I'm giving an example. Don't at me with that. Man, you understand what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah, I get it. It's you, but the most marvelous thing about it, actually, I should talk about it a little bit. Oh yeah, okay. Anyway, I will talk about it. Well, the most interesting thing about all of this stuff is the audience interaction with the creator, because
Yeah.
that's what fascinating about this, because that's another way of interaction. Actually, remember I said there's a song cover that I'm covering, song cover that I'm working up. Actually, if you go into my every freaking social media, that's actually a post have been pinned that I'm something is cooking for a while, and it's going through like so many like VTubers.
Mm-hmm.
It's the song. It's actually the teaser for the song song cover that I'm working up, and the song is actually about a content creator and their audience interaction. Actually, translated to English called clown, because it's in another language, and I have already translated the lyrics. It just
What's the original language?
Lyrics, Persian.
Persian. That's incredible. That sounds super cool.
And yeah, I'm pretty sure nobody in the VTuber community have heard this song. So this is a really old song. Actually, it was sang in honor of Charlie Chaplin, the famous 1980 comedian. So the thing is, this song goes through like the interaction between the content creator, the entertainer, and their audience. And that's I think it's fascinating about all of this VTubing is that it highlights this interaction rather than anything else.
I mean, it's funny that you bring all that up, because something I was thinking about was, I think it would be so much fun for me to get like a haptic feedback suit, so that I can, my gosh, Discord, your pings should be your pings should be silent.
Oh, that's going to be nightmare from Discord pings.
It is. Hold on, I gotta make sure that actually stops. Just enable. Thank you, Ren. I needed that. My gosh, what more do you want? But I think it would be like, that actually is a perfect example of Ren throwing the Dr. Pepper. I think it'd be so funny to get a haptic feedback suit, or just like a vest or whatever. That way, if when I get hit by Dr. Pepper, I feel that, and I like, it's not just me reacting to the sound. Instead, it's an experience where I get hit with the sound, but I feel it against my body. And it's just like, it doesn't hurt. I mean, it shouldn't hurt, but just like the idea of feeling those Dr. Peppers gives it a level of immersion that's like, now I truly have to fear my chat because of...
One question.
What?
Do we have haptic feedback helmet?
What was that?
Do we have haptic feedback helmet?
I don't know. Maybe it's a headset? Spring-loaded shotgun aimed at your chest with a Dr. Pepper getting thrown the trigger pulls. No! That sounds awful. Hold on. Haptic feedback headset. I don't want any of that. Alright, let's do helmet. I don't think there are ones. Like, there's probably in development, but like, I don't think there's anyone that's commercially available.
Oh man, that's possible now.
Besides, I don't think I'd want to get.
If it was possible.
I don't think I'd want to get hit in the face with that. I actually think the sound alert only being on your end for Dr. Pepper is genius. Wait, what do you mean the sound alert? Oh, that's right, because so I muted the Twitch audio, or the throwing system audio. That's what Sea-Dog did. He tied a redeem to an automated Nerf gun that shot him when Chatter redeemed. Yeah, so look, so for instance, Tay, would you be so kind and to throw something, or all of it, I don't care. That way you guys can hear it. I'm gonna take my headset off for a moment. No? Okay, I'm gonna put my headset back on.
Now it gets pro.
Okay. See, did you guys hear it that time?
See?
Ah, there it is.
Oh, there was
We almost got through one episode of the show without that. But were you guys in chat able to hear that? I wasn't in mod view. Oh, I see. But I unmuted that because I control the sound for that. Oh, that's right. I disabled all the Dr. Peppers for this stream specifically. So yeah. But you can hear it on stream now. But yeah, technology is so cool and it's so ever changing that I would love to have something that could give more interaction with my audience like that, because I like gaming, don't get me wrong, but if my streams could all be performance based, that's my dream, because I enjoy that much more than I do gaming. Let me phrase that, gaming on stream. But what makes it truly fun is if I collab with people and then I make the gaming stream, the performance. So, it just depends on context and setting.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Actually, I love to collab with you, but from the time zone's perspective, I would not think it was possible.
Yeah,
I was like,
I'd be in class. So, but it is what it is.
I was one time trying to say that I want it, but at the same time I was like, nah, the time zone difference is too much. We cannot by any means of manner manage to do it, even if we want to.
Well, and it's one of those things where in my eyes, if it's truly a priority at that moment, and this just goes for anything, this is just my life philosophy, if it is a priority, I will make it happen. Because for instance, it's like the conversation of, you're a parent now. You're a parent, or I am a parent, I have kids. I don't have time to play video games. It's like, is it that you don't have time to play video games, or is it that you don't care about video games enough to play them? Because if you say I don't have time for it, I think that could inherently be a lie, because instead you just say it's just not important to me, therefore I don't want to do it, I do other things instead of it. It's like, there you go. So, yeah.
So you won't actually make me to make our time zone difference more complicated than already it is?
Well, that's at that point, that's just more of a thing on your end, because you're 7 hours ahead of me. So it's
I'm actually 11 hours.
Oh, you're 11 hours. Okay, gotcha. So that's even, my gosh, it's half a day. Well, ladies and gentlemen, time zones suck.
Another thing is that, remember that my job is a casino. Well, it's an online casino that I'm a customer support and I'm on a shift. So it's midnight, and after this stream, I immediately should go to my job.
Well,
actually, my jobs actually happens 1 hour sooner. I just specifically for this stream acquired 1 hour off.
Oh.
So.
Well, dang! I appreciate you for making.
So you see how things get more complicated as I add more things to it.
Well, then because of that,
so yeah,
let's wrap this up then, because we're hitting the 2 hour mark shortly. So I might as well get into my very last set of questions.
You can go on.
Yeah, so at the very end, this is a new segment for the VOD. At the very end of the show, I like to ask my guest 10 questions that are just fun questions. There is no right answer, there's no wrong answers, just to see what my guest says. This is based on James Lipton, famous actor, writer, director, producer, who would always ask these questions to his guests at the end of his show inside the actor's studio. So we will start with our very first question. Tasso, what is your favorite word?
What is my favorite word? Weird.
What is your least favorite word?
Fuck.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
My past experiences.
That's a good one. What turns you off?
People being too sensitive on a like low sensitive topic.
What is your favorite curse word?
Sick. Actually, don't think that's actually counted as a curse word, but it's one of my favorite words as curse.
Sure. What sound or noise do you love? What sound or noise do you hate?
Crows.
What was that?
Crows.
Oh. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Well, I actually thought about VTubing. Oh, actually, business management. I really like that, but never got the chance of it.
What profession would you not like to do? So that's one you've never done that you hope to never do.
Never done and hope to never do. Actually, audio engineering. Sorry to say it.
All right, well, I have to ask why. Just because it's that, I have to ask why.
Because I can't understand audio.
You know, that is a completely fair answer. Audio engineering is very annoying to learn. Last question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Welcome to not heaven.
Welcome to
That would be hilarious.
Welcome to not heaven?
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
I understand. That makes sense. Well, that wraps up and concludes our show. So thank you so much, Tasogare, for being on the show. I really appreciate it. Again, this show would not be what it is without you and every guest that has come before you. So with that in mind, I need to get all my copy and pasted info set up. That right there. That's for our wonderful followers. And that right there is for our wonderful subscribers. So with that in mind, thank you guys so much for being here. Our next stream is actually going to be on Monday. And, excuse me, it's going to be on Monday. We're going to be continuing to play Elden Ring with our buddy Phantom. Then, our next episode of the VOD will be next Friday, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And we're going to be having our friendly neighborhood robecaster as our guest. With that, my name is Val. This has been Tasogare. And we are going to raid out. And I have somebody in mind for that, right? Oh, Cynical is playing. That's funny. And we're going to do that. So anywho, now we just have to wait for the timer and the countdown to go. So
Oh, okay,
there
just
it
to
is.
feel it.
Ah, yep, there it is. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, hold on.
I'm gonna need more water.
Who was not
Oh my goodness.
accounted for?
Thank you so much for the raid. And also, oh god.
Goose goose duck. Oh.
Hi, sorry I was talking to chat. My bad. I was also, I was in security. I was in sorry.
Alrighty, well, this has been fun, but you need to go to work, and I have something I gotta go to, so